Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Tech Sheck. And today we have a special session. We're trying to keep our pulse on what's happening in Pakistan. And I'm very happy to have a unique guest who's done things on both sides of the world, Mr. Asad Khan, the CEO of MEDZnMORE. How are you doing today, Asad?
Assalamu Faruk, and assalamu everybody in US and the wider diaspora. So happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thanks for being on with us. So let's just jump right in, Tech Sheck style. Asad, tell us, what's MEDZnMORE all about?
Okay, so I think healthcare is very close to my heart. So I spent before Kareem, I spent 10, 12 years in the West working in the healthcare technology sector. And I think in Pakistan, when I moved back to Pakistan, I realized that in Pakistan, healthcare as an industry doesn't exist, but there's a huge scope for somebody to come in and build a platform that can simplify healthcare services in Pakistan. So what we are building at MEDZnMORE is we are trying to build a comprehensive healthcare platform. We have started with medicine delivery side, and then we'll start adding next services, so diagnostics, hospital appointment, and then health insurance on top. But having said that, I think adding services or starting these kind of solutions is the easiest thing. So you can set up, you can put up a basic technology, basic tech, and then start these services. I think the tricky part is how do you ensure the efficiency or the scalability of these services, right? So I think if I just start with the medicine delivery side, I think if you want to effectively or efficiently scale medicine delivery, you have to make sure that the whole process of order journey is streamlined using technology. For example, if you want to convert people who are buying offline, you want to bring them online. There are certain pain points in the markets right now. So you got to ensure that they get delivery of their medicine quickly, right? So if it takes them half an hour get to a medical store or the pharmacy down the line, you got to ensure you are within the same ballpark range. You got to ensure the affordability of that medicine, the variety of the medicine you keep. So for that, you have to build a platform that delivers that and using technology. So for example, if somebody orders a medicine, then the medicine comes to the warehouse. It has to be out of the warehouse in the quickest possible time. And then your rider has to deliver those medicines using the best possible route. It cannot be done manually. It has to be technology that solves this kind of problem. And then I think the similar principle applies to other services, for example, diagnostics. And once you start adding these services and have multiple contact points for the customers, then that the whole journey has to become more personalized. You got to turn patients. So I always say you got to turn patients into consumers. I think that patient has to be replaced with consumers of healthcare services. So that's what we're doing. So I think the aim is that we build a healthcare platform starting with medicine delivery that eventually is fully sync. So for example, if somebody wants telehealth and then prescription includes medicine and diagnostic, that should be automatic. So the prescription should order medicine for that person and should also or a lab test for that person. So the whole platform has to work in sync as a personalized platform for people coming onto our platform. So awesome. That's a very, 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 very high level what we're trying to build at MEDZnMORE.
Great concept, great idea, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of room for things like this in Pakistan. And on that note, it leads me to my next question. So I know you have some competition out there and you've recently raised a reasonable amount of money. What's going on in the landscape? Tell us a little bit what's happening.
Yes. So when I was at Kareem, so I came back to Pakistan. I think Kareem was pretty much the first professional job in Pakistan. The market was very patchy. I think the digital adoption was very slow. And over the 4-year period, I think Kareem and Uber and similar companies were in Pakistan, they ended up spending almost $250 million from their own pockets to develop this market. So they forced fed people. So anybody who wanted to transport, they could get an air-conditioned car cheaper than Raksha. And that forced the population to start downloading the apps and start using the app because there was the value addition was just too much to ignore. So these two players spent a lot of money to develop this market.
Right.
Now, if we come on to the e-commerce side, I think Daraz is doing similar things right now. Food Panda is doing similar things right now. So they have doubled down in Pakistan. They're investing money. And collectively, all these investments in these players will benefit every digital player in the market because people will get used to using app. On healthcare side or medicine delivery side, the liquidity had been very constrained. If I look back, I think that even the players who have done relatively well in this market, they didn't have the required liquidity. They couldn't attract the right talent. They didn't build the right technology stacks because they didn't have the resources. They couldn't get the talent. They couldn't build technology. So this market even now has been relatively untouched. So if I tell you that if you combine all of the current players together, they probably have 0.2% of the total market right now.
Wow. Okay.
So you can easily say that this market still in infancy, right? So no player has actually made a concerted effort to bring offline users online and deliver that experience. I think what has historically happened in Pakistan, a lot of people who actually moved online to buy medicine, the experience was so bad that they went offline again. They started going to the local pharmacy again. So the retention of these users and the word of mouth, like for Kareem and other big players, just didn't happen in this market. So I think let's say how we differentiate in this is we are, first of all, we raise substantial capital. So liquidity is not a problem at this stage for us. Because of the liquidity, I think I came into this business and we attracted top talent. So the top talent we are getting is top talent in Pakistan. Right. Then we look for, it's going to be a technology solution, right? So the whole journey needs to be, we need to find the best in this market. So we went to a company who built Kareem technology stack. So we hired the same company to build us the logistics, warehousing, procurement, and the whole customer journey. So we have spent a lot of money already on building very customized solution purely for online pharmacy platform. The team we have, I believe, is one of the best teams in Pakistan right now. And I think combination of these will give us, let's say, muscle to start building this market. And I think having competition is always a good thing. I do wish them that they do good. They successfully compete in this market because it's such a big market that no one player will be able to develop this market. Once competing companies, good companies with capital, with talent, technology, if they start going towards the market, once the market is developed, may the best player win in this market. But I think having competition will actually help this market. So I actually have best wishes for our competition because if they do well, we'll do well as well.
That's great to hear, and it's good to hear. And it's very relevant and interesting when when we look at Kareem and kind of the evolution that they brought to the Pakistani marketplace. What's pretty interesting is the price tag. There was a very hefty price tag to really change that market. And I guess that's something we're all starting to get used to. And when you start seeing these multi-million-dollar investments in Pakistan, it does make one feel good that the same focus is being brought in. And kudos to Kareem for leading the way and obviously now Uber. So with that, wanted to get to the last and the pertinent point for you guys. I said is, what can we as a diaspora do to help?
So I think just before that, I think on Kareem's point, so I think Kareem has been a great catalyst in this market. So if I give you a few examples, so for example, I spent 2 years at Kareem and then started this company. Then there's a company called Bazaar. They're a B2B company, so they are Kareem, ex-Kareem guys. Then there's another B2B company called Retail. In Pakistan, I think what we are trying to build or what other players are trying to build, so it's not rocket science. So a lot of this stuff has already been done in the West. So when I was in healthcare, we were building predictive engines using AI and machine learning. So a lot of this thing has already been done in the West. So the ask for diaspora is help companies in Pakistan do the transfer of knowledge. If you are working in healthcare, if you're working in e-commerce and Amazon and Apple and other companies,
right?
Even if you don't want to move back to Pakistan, I think there's a lot you can do, right? There's a lot that you guys have done in the West. That knowledge can help young entrepreneurs in Pakistan go in the right direction. So I think my ask to diaspora would be help out, reach out to young entrepreneurs in Pakistan and give them knowledge, give them direction, because a lot of this stuff has already been done in the West. I think we are slightly behind the curve, so we can learn a lot from people or the diaspora, which are doing well in the West right now.
Fantastic. Hey, and with that, Asad, really want to thank you for your time and your insights. It's always great to hear from people like you. There's really an evolution going on in Pakistan, and inshallah, it will continue with folks like yourself who are leading the charge. So again, thank you very much for joining us today.
Pleasure, Faruk. Thanks for having me.
And to our audience, as always, as you can see, the Tech Sheck train is rolling along. There's so many cool and interesting concepts. There's so many interesting things happening in the Pakistan ecosystem. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe with us. We want your inputs and keep sending us candidates for topics. We love it. Thank you with that, everybody. Allah Hafiz. Have a great day.